Why your subconscious might be controlling more than you think. Deep inside the human mind, beyond the reach of deliberate thought, there exists a silent system that operates constantly, shaping decisions, emotions, and behaviors long before awareness ever appears. This system is known as the subconscious mind, and despite its invisibility, it may be responsible for far more of your daily life than you realize. Most people believe they are actively choosing their thoughts and actions in real time. But neuroscience suggests something far more unusual. Conscious awareness often arrives after the brain has already begun processing and even initiating decisions. In other words, the feeling of choosing may sometimes be more like observing a decision that has already been made in the background. The subconscious is not a single structure in the brain. Instead, it is a vast network of processes spread across multiple regions, constantly filtering sensory input, storing memories, predicting outcomes, and automating behavior. Every second, your brain receives millions of bits of information, but only a tiny fraction ever reaches conscious awareness. The rest is handled silently, without permission or notice. This hidden system is responsible for many actions you consider automatic. Walking, speaking your native language, recognizing faces, reacting emotionally to music, all of these occur with minimal conscious effort. If you had to consciously control each step while walking or construct every sentence from scratch, even simple tasks would become overwhelming. The subconscious acts as a powerful efficiency engine, allowing the conscious mind to focus on novelty and survival-relevant decisions. However, its influence goes much deeper than physical automation. The subconscious also plays a central role in emotional responses. Have you ever felt uneasy in a place without knowing why? Or instantly liked or disliked a person within seconds of meeting them? These reactions often arise from subconscious pattern recognition based on past experiences, even when the conscious mind has no access to the memory triggering them. In many ways, the subconscious behaves like a predictive system. It continuously builds models of the world based on previous data, then uses those models to anticipate what will happen next. This is why humans can react so quickly to danger, or intuitively sense outcomes before they are logically understood. The brain is not simply reacting to reality, it is constantly guessing it. One of the most fascinating aspects of this system is how easily it can be influenced without awareness. Repetition, environment, and emotional intensity all shape subconscious programming. This is why habits form. Repeated actions gradually shift from conscious effort to automatic behavior stored deeper in the mind. Over time, the subconscious begins to execute these patterns without asking for permission. Even perception itself is not entirely objective. The subconscious filters what you see, hear, and notice. Two people can experience the same event but interpret it completely differently because their internal models are shaped by different memories, beliefs, and emotional associations. In this sense, reality is partially constructed before it ever reaches conscious thought. Yet despite its power, the subconscious does not operate independently in a chaotic way. It works in constant collaboration with consciousness. The conscious mind sets goals, explores ideas, and applies logic, while the subconscious handles speed, memory, and automation. Together, they form a layered system, one slow and deliberate, the other fast and invisible. Still, the most mysterious question remains: who is truly in control? If thoughts can arise before awareness notices them, and if decisions can be prepared in the background, then the boundary between you and your subconscious becomes less clear. It raises a strange possibility that what we call the self might actually be a combination of processes watching other processes unfold. As you drift into sleep, this boundary becomes even thinner. The conscious mind fades, while the subconscious continues its quiet activity, generating dreams, processing memories, and reorganizing emotional experiences. In this state, the hidden layer of the mind becomes the dominant force, constructing entire worlds without external input. And yet, when morning comes, you wake up with the feeling that you are always in control. But the deeper question remains unresolved. Were you? The illusion of free will inside the human mind. Every day, people make thousands of decisions without questioning where those choices truly come from. Some are simple, choosing what to eat, where to walk, or which song to play. Others shape entire lives, careers, relationships, beliefs, and identities. Most people assume these decisions originate from conscious thought, carefully examined and freely chosen. But modern neuroscience has revealed something deeply unsettling. The brain may begin making decisions before conscious awareness even realizes it. This strange possibility has fascinated philosophers and scientists for centuries. The concept of free will, the idea that humans consciously control their actions, forms the foundation of morality, law, and personal identity. Yet experiments conducted over the past several decades suggest that the sensation of making a choice may partly be an illusion created by the brain after unconscious processes are already underway. One of the most famous discoveries came from studies measuring brain activity moments before voluntary movement. Researchers found that electrical signals associated with action appeared in the brain fractions of a second before participants reported consciously deciding to move. In other words, the subconscious brain seemed to know about the decision before the conscious mind experienced the intention itself. At first glance, this finding appears almost impossible. How can the brain decide before you decide? The answer may lie in the structure of consciousness itself. Conscious thought is relatively slow compared to the immense amount of subconscious processing happening beneath awareness. While the conscious mind focuses on a narrow stream of thoughts, the subconscious continuously analyzes memories, emotions, patterns, and predictions at extraordinary speed. The feeling of conscious control may therefore function more like a narrator than a commander. Instead of directly generating every decision, consciousness may interpret and explain actions that are already emerging from deeper neural systems. Some scientists compare this to reading the headlines of a newspaper after events have already occurred behind the scenes. Yet this does not necessarily mean humans are powerless machines. The relationship between consciousness and subconsciousness appears far more complex. Conscious thought can still influence long-term behavior by shaping habits, attention, and goals over time. While an individual impulse may arise unconsciously, the broader framework guiding those impulses can still be affected by reflection, learning, and self-awareness. This creates a fascinating paradox. You may not consciously create every thought that appears in your mind, but you can influence which thoughts are reinforced, ignored, or acted upon. In this sense, free will may not operate as complete control over every mental event, but rather as a gradual steering process within a much larger system. The illusion becomes even stronger because the brain constantly builds stories explaining behavior. Humans naturally seek coherence and meaning. After making a decision, the conscious mind often invents logical reasons for actions that may have originated emotionally or subconsciously. Experiments have shown that people frequently defend choices even when those choices were secretly manipulated without their knowledge. The mind prefers a believable narrative over uncertainty. Emotions play a powerful role in this hidden system. Many decisions thought to be rational are strongly influenced by subconscious emotional reactions occurring milliseconds before conscious reasoning begins. Fear, attraction, familiarity, and social instincts shape perception long before logic enters the process. The rational mind often acts less like a ruler and more like an advisor arriving late to the meeting. Even memory contributes to the illusion of a stable, freely controlling self. Human memory is not a perfect recording device. It constantly reconstructs events, sometimes altering details without awareness. The sense of continuity, the feeling that the same you has been making decisions throughout life, may partly emerge from the brain's ability to weave experiences into a consistent story. Despite these discoveries, the mystery remains unresolved. Some philosophers argue that free will is entirely impossible if every thought arises from physical brain activity influenced by prior causes. Others believe consciousness still introduces genuine flexibility into human behavior, even if its mechanisms are not fully understood. There is no universal agreement. What makes this topic especially fascinating is how natural the illusion feels. Even after learning about subconscious decision-making, people continue experiencing themselves as active agents making real choices. The sensation of willing an action remains deeply convincing. Perhaps consciousness evolved not to control every process directly, but to create a unified experience capable of long-term planning, cooperation, and survival. As night falls and awareness begins to drift towards sleep, the illusion changes once again. Dreams emerge without conscious permission. Entire landscapes, conversations, and emotions appear spontaneously from the hidden layers of the mind. In dreams, the subconscious becomes both author and audience, constructing realities that feel completely real until waking dissolves them. And when morning returns, the human mind resumes its familiar feeling of control, quietly unaware of how much may still be happening beneath the surface. What if your entire reality is being simulated by your brain? At this very moment, your brain is constructing the world around you. The colors you see, the sounds you hear, the feeling of your body, even the sense of time passing. None of these experiences exist exactly as you perceive them outside your mind. Instead, they are electrical interpretations created by the brain from limited sensory information arriving every second. This realization leads to one of the strangest ideas in neuroscience and philosophy. What if your experience of reality is not a direct view of the world, but a simulation generated inside your own head? The human brain never interacts with reality directly. It exists sealed inside darkness, protected within the skull, unable to touch the outside world itself. Everything it knows arrives through signals carried by nerves. Light enters the eyes as electromagnetic waves. Vibrations reach the ears as changes in air pressure. Chemical molecules stimulate smell and taste receptors. Tiny electrical impulses travel inward, and from this incomplete stream of data, the brain constructs a coherent model of reality. In many ways, the brain behaves like an advanced prediction engine. Rather than passively recording the world, it constantly guesses what reality should look like based on past experiences. Scientists call this predictive processing. The brain builds expectations first, then compares incoming sensory information against those expectations. What you consciously perceive may therefore be partly prediction and partly correction. This system explains why optical illusions exist. In certain images, the brain confidently sees motion where none exists, or perceives colors and shapes differently depending on surrounding context. The eyes deliver information accurately, but the brain's interpretation changes the experience itself. Reality, as humans experience it, is not simply observed, it is actively constructed. Even time may be partially simulated. The brain does not experience events the instant they occur. Neural processing takes time, meaning conscious awareness is always slightly delayed. To compensate, the brain predicts what will happen fractions of a second ahead, creating the seamless feeling of living in the present moment. In a sense, the mind continuously edits reality fast enough that the delay becomes invisible. Dreams reveal this constructive power even more dramatically. During sleep, external sensory input decreases, yet the brain continues generating entire worlds filled with landscapes, conversations, emotions, and physical sensations. While dreaming, these experiences often feel completely real. Only upon waking does the illusion collapse. This raises an unsettling question. If the brain can create convincing realities during dreams, how can conscious experience ever fully verify the nature of waking reality? Philosophers have debated this for thousands of years. Ancient thinkers wondered whether life itself might resemble a dream. Modern theories explore whether consciousness experiences only an internal model rather than objective reality itself. Some scientists argue that perception evolved not to reveal truth perfectly, but to improve survival. Organisms that efficiently interpreted useful information survived longer than those attempting to process every detail of objective reality. This means the human brain may prioritize simplified usefulness over complete accuracy. The world you experience could therefore resemble a carefully optimized interface rather than raw truth. Color offers a fascinating example. Objects do not inherently contain red, blue, or green. Color exists as the brain's interpretation of different wavelengths of light. Other animals perceive wavelengths humans cannot see, including ultraviolet patterns invisible to the human eye. Entire visual worlds exist beyond ordinary human perception. Sound operates similarly. Vibrations move through the air silently until the brain transforms them into music, voices, or noise. Without consciousness interpreting signals, there would be no experienced sound at all, only moving molecules. The sense of self may also be part of this simulation. Neuroscientists increasingly suggest that the feeling of being a unified person emerges from coordinated brain activity rather than from a single central observer. Different brain regions handle vision, emotion, memory, language, and body awareness separately, yet consciousness merges them into one seamless experience. The self may function less like a fixed entity and more like a continuously updated narrative model. Under certain conditions, this model can change dramatically. Hallucinations, sensory deprivation, neurological disorders, and psychoactive substances can alter perception so strongly that entirely different realities appear convincing. These experiences demonstrate how flexible and fragile conscious simulation can become when normal brain processing shifts. Still, despite its limitations, the brain simulation is astonishingly effective. It allows humans to navigate environments, build civilizations, imagine futures, and reflect on existence itself. The internal model may not be perfect reality, but it is sophisticated enough to create science, art, philosophy, and dreams. As night deepens and consciousness slowly drifts towards sleep, the brain continues its endless construction. Images emerge behind closed eyes. Memories blend with imagination. Familiar laws of space and time begin to loosen. Quietly, without permission or effort, the mind creates another world to inhabit until morning arrives once more. And somewhere within that endless simulation, you continue experiencing the strange feeling of being real. The strange science of dreams that predict the future. For thousands of years, humans have believed that dreams could reveal hidden knowledge about the future. Ancient kings consulted dream interpreters before battles. Priests recorded symbolic visions believed to come from gods or spirits. Entire civilizations treated dreams as messages carrying warnings, prophecies, or guidance from beyond ordinary reality. Even today, many people report having dreams that later seem to come true. A conversation appears in sleep, then happens days later. A place never visited somehow becomes familiar upon arrival. A feeling of danger emerges in a dream shortly before unexpected news arrives. These experiences can feel deeply unsettling, as though the sleeping mind somehow glimpsed events before they unfolded. But can dreams actually predict the future? Modern science approaches this question cautiously. There is no verified evidence that the brain can literally see future events before they happen. Yet the phenomenon of predictive dreams remains surprisingly common across cultures and history. To understand why, scientists study how memory, emotion, intuition, and subconscious pattern recognition interact during sleep. The human brain is constantly collecting information, much of which never reaches conscious awareness. Tiny facial expressions, changes in tone of voice, subtle environmental patterns, and emotional cues are stored silently beneath conscious thought. During waking life, the conscious mind filters most of this information out. But during sleep, especially during dreaming, the brain begins reorganizing and connecting memories in unusual ways. Dreams are not random movies generated without purpose. Research suggests that dreaming plays an important role in emotional processing, memory consolidation, and future simulation. In many dreams, the brain practices possible scenarios, explores fears, and predicts outcomes based on past experiences. In this sense, dreams may function partly as a rehearsal system for the future. Imagine meeting someone who appears calm on the surface, but whose behavior contains subtle signs of dishonesty that your conscious mind ignores. Your subconscious may still register those details. Later, during sleep, the brain combines emotional signals and memories into a disturbing dream about betrayal or danger. If the person eventually proves untrustworthy, the dream can appear prophetic, even though the brain was actually making an advanced prediction from hidden observations. This ability is connected to the brain's extraordinary pattern recognition systems. Humans evolved to survive by anticipating threats and opportunities before they fully appeared. The subconscious mind continuously searches for patterns in behavior, environment, and emotion. Dreams may amplify this process by allowing the brain to explore possibilities freely without the limits of waking logic. One reason predictive dreams feel so convincing is because dreams often contain strong emotions. Emotional memories are more likely to remain vivid after waking, especially when connected to future events. If a dream resembles something that later happens, the emotional intensity can create the impression of supernatural foresight. At the same time, memory itself is highly flexible. Human beings naturally search for meaning and connections. After a real event occurs, the brain may unconsciously reshape memories of earlier dreams to match the new experience more closely. Psychologists call this retrospective interpretation. The dream may not have predicted the event exactly, but the mind reconstructs similarities afterward, strengthening the illusion of prophecy. Still, not all cases are easily dismissed. Some dreams appear remarkably specific, containing details that seem difficult to explain through coincidence alone. These stories continue to fascinate scientists, philosophers, and ordinary people alike. While skepticism remains essential, the persistence of such experiences suggests that the subconscious mind may process far more information than conscious awareness realizes. Dreams can also influence the future in another way, by changing behavior. A powerful dream may alter decisions, increase caution, inspire creativity, or motivate action. In this case, the dream does not predict the future passively, it actively helps shape it. Many scientific discoveries and artistic ideas were inspired by dreams. The structure of the benzene molecule reportedly appeared to chemist Auguste K. Coulet in a dream vision of a serpent biting its own tail. Musicians, writers, and inventors throughout history have described waking from sleep with solutions that conscious effort could not produce. During dreaming, the brain forms unusual connections between ideas, allowing creativity to emerge in unexpected ways. Neurologically, dreams occur most vividly during REM sleep, when brain activity becomes highly active despite the body remaining largely paralyzed. During this phase, emotional and memory-related regions of the brain communicate intensely, while areas responsible for strict logical control become less dominant. This creates a mental environment where imagination, memory, fear, and intuition blend together freely. Perhaps this is why dreams often feel timeless. In dreams, the normal structure of cause and effect weakens. Past memories merge with imagined futures. The brain moves through possibilities without following ordinary physical rules. A single moment can contain emotions from years of life compressed together. As the night deepens and consciousness drifts further from waking reality, the dreaming mind continues weaving its silent predictions, fears, and stories. Somewhere within those shifting landscapes, the subconscious searches endlessly for meaning in an uncertain world. And by morning, some dreams fade instantly into darkness, while others remain, lingering quietly with the strange feeling that they may still be trying to tell you something. The hidden program running your thoughts automatically. At any moment during the day, thousands of thoughts pass silently through the human mind. Some appear logical and deliberate, while others arrive unexpectedly, almost as if they were inserted from somewhere beyond conscious control. Most people assume they are actively creating these thoughts in real time. Yet neuroscience suggests something far stranger. Much of human thinking may operate automatically, guided by hidden mental programs running constantly beneath awareness. The conscious mind feels like the center of control because it experiences thoughts directly. But conscious awareness represents only a tiny fraction of total brain activity. Beneath the surface, billions of neurons exchange signals continuously, forming patterns, predictions, memories, emotions, and reactions long before conscious thought notices them. In many ways, the brain resembles an advanced biological machine built for efficiency. If every decision required full conscious attention, even simple tasks would become exhausting. Instead, the brain automates behaviors whenever possible. Walking, reading familiar words, recognizing faces, driving familiar routes, and understanding language all rely heavily on subconscious processing systems. This hidden automation begins forming early in life. Repeated experiences create neural pathways that gradually strengthen through repetition. The more often a behavior or thought pattern occurs, the more automatic it becomes. Over time, actions that once required intense concentration shift into subconscious routines executed with little conscious effort. Habits are one of the clearest examples of this hidden programming. A person may wake up, prepare coffee, check messages, or follow a daily routine almost without thinking. The brain conserves energy by converting repeated actions into automatic sequences. In fact, researchers estimate that a large percentage of daily behavior consists of habitual patterns rather than fully conscious decisions. But these subconscious programs extend far beyond physical actions. Emotional reactions, beliefs, fears, preferences, and even social behavior can become deeply automated. A certain smell may instantly trigger nostalgia. A familiar song may create sadness before conscious memory identifies why. A person may feel anxiety in a situation connected to long-forgotten experiences stored deep within emotional memory systems. The brain constantly searches for patterns because prediction is essential for survival. Throughout evolution, organisms that recognized danger quickly had a better chance of surviving. As a result, the subconscious mind became extraordinarily skilled at detecting patterns and generating rapid responses before conscious analysis could occur. This predictive system shapes perception itself. The brain does not passively wait for information to arrive. Instead, it continuously anticipates what will happen next. When sensory information matches predictions, reality feels stable and familiar. When predictions fail, surprise and confusion occur. In this sense, much of human experience involves the brain constantly comparing expectations against incoming data. Language provides another remarkable example of automatic processing. When reading a sentence, most people do not consciously analyze each individual letter. The brain instantly recognizes words and meanings through highly trained neural systems developed over years of repetition. Entire conversations unfold at extraordinary speed because subconscious processing handles much of the complexity automatically. Yet perhaps the strangest aspect of this hidden programming is how strongly it can influence thought itself. Many thoughts arise spontaneously without deliberate intention. A memory suddenly appears. A worry enters the mind uninvited. An idea forms seemingly from nowhere. Consciousness often experiences these thoughts only after subconscious systems have already generated them. Psychologists sometimes compare consciousness to the visible tip of an iceberg. Beneath awareness lies an enormous structure of hidden processing responsible for shaping most mental activity. The conscious mind may observe thoughts and decisions, but the deeper machinery producing them remains largely invisible. This hidden automation can be beneficial, allowing humans to function efficiently in complex environments. However, it can also create limitations. Negative thought patterns repeated over time may become automatic. Anxiety, self-doubt, and fear can transform into deeply ingrained subconscious habits that continue operating even when a person consciously wants to change them. Because of this, repetition becomes incredibly powerful. Repeated experiences gradually rewire neural pathways, strengthening certain mental patterns while weakening others. Learning a new skill, developing confidence, or overcoming fear often requires repeatedly training the brain until new patterns become automatic. Sleep plays a critical role in this process. During sleep, especially deep and REM sleep, the brain reorganizes memories and strengthens important neural connections. Experiences from waking life are reviewed, sorted, and integrated into existing mental frameworks. In many ways, the subconscious continues updating its hidden programming long after conscious awareness disappears for the night. Dreams themselves may partly reflect this internal maintenance system. Memories combine with emotions, fears, and imagined scenarios as the brain rehearses possibilities and processes unresolved experiences. Beneath the strange imagery of dreams, the subconscious mind continues refining the invisible code shaping future thoughts and behavior. Despite centuries of scientific progress, the full nature of this hidden programming remains mysterious. No one fully understands how billions of neurons create subjective experience, self-awareness, or the feeling of identity itself. The brain remains the most complex known object in the observable universe, and much of its inner operation still unfolds in silence beyond conscious reach. As night slowly settles and thoughts begin to drift, the hidden systems inside the mind continue their endless activity. Patterns strengthen. Memories reorganize. Predictions form quietly in darkness. And somewhere beneath awareness, the invisible program guiding human thought keeps running, whether consciousness notices it or not. How your brain decides before you even think. Every conscious decision feels immediate and personal. You reach for a cup, choose a word, turn your head toward a sound, or suddenly decide to stand up. In each moment, it seems obvious that the conscious self is actively directing the action. Yet hidden beneath awareness, the brain may already be preparing those decisions long before the feeling of choice appears. This strange possibility has become one of the most unsettling discoveries in modern neuroscience. Experiments suggest that the human brain can begin forming decisions seconds before conscious awareness realizes anything is happening. The conscious mind, rather than initiating every action directly, may sometimes be the last system to learn what the brain has already set into motion. The idea challenges one of humanity's deepest assumptions, that conscious thought sits at the center of control. For centuries, philosophers believed the conscious self functioned as the master of the mind, deliberately choosing actions through reason and intention. But the brain's hidden processes operate at extraordinary speed, far faster than conscious awareness can observe. One of the most famous experiments exploring this phenomenon involved measuring electrical activity in the brain before voluntary movement. Participants were asked to move a finger whenever they felt the urge while scientists monitored neural signals. Researchers discovered something remarkable. Activity associated with preparing the movement appeared in the brain before participants reported consciously deciding to move. The brain, it seemed, had already begun the decision-making process before conscious intention emerged. Later studies using advanced brain imaging pushed this idea even further. In some experiments, scientists could predict certain choices several seconds before participants became consciously aware of deciding. Although these predictions were not perfectly accurate, they suggested that subconscious neural activity may guide decisions earlier than humans intuitively believe. How can this happen? The answer lies partly in the structure of the brain itself. Conscious awareness is relatively slow and limited. At any given moment, the brain processes enormous amounts of information: sensory input, memories, emotional states, body signals, environmental changes, and predictions about the future. Most of this activity never reaches conscious thought because awareness simply cannot handle such overwhelming complexity all at once. Instead, subconscious systems perform much of the work automatically. They analyze patterns, evaluate risks, and prepare possible actions continuously in the background. By the time consciousness notices an urge or thought, hidden neural systems may already have spent valuable time calculating outcomes and preparing responses. In many ways, consciousness resembles a spotlight illuminating only a tiny portion of mental activity. Outside that narrow beam, vast subconscious networks remain active constantly. Thoughts appear, emotions rise, and impulses emerge from systems operating silently beneath awareness. This does not mean consciousness is useless. Rather, conscious thought may serve a different role than people traditionally imagined. Instead of directly controlling every moment, consciousness may specialize in long-term planning, reflection, social communication, and evaluating complex situations over time. Meanwhile, fast subconscious systems manage immediate reactions and predictions essential for survival. Evolution likely favored this arrangement because rapid responses often determine survival. If early humans had to consciously analyze every threat before reacting, they would have moved too slowly in dangerous environments. Subconscious processing allows the brain to act quickly, sometimes before conscious awareness fully understands the situation. This hidden preparation system also explains certain strange experiences. Many people have sensed danger moments before consciously identifying the cause. Others suddenly know the answer to a problem without understanding how they reached it. Sometimes the subconscious brain recognizes patterns and relationships before conscious reasoning catches up. Intuition may partly emerge from this hidden predictive machinery. The brain constantly compares current situations against enormous libraries of past experiences stored in memory. When subtle similarities appear, subconscious systems can generate feelings, urges, or warnings without revealing the complex calculations behind them. At the same time, this process raises unsettling philosophical questions. If subconscious systems begin preparing decisions before conscious awareness notices, then what exactly is the conscious self-controlling? Is free will simply the experience of observing decisions that deeper brain systems have already initiated? Scientists remain divided on this question. Some argue that consciousness still retains the ability to approve, modify, or cancel actions before they occur. Others believe the feeling of conscious control may largely be a narrative constructed after subconscious processes begin unfolding. The truth may lie somewhere between complete control and complete automation. Human behavior likely emerges from constant interaction between conscious reflection and subconscious prediction. Rather than a single controlling entity, the mind may function as layers of interconnected systems influencing one another continuously. Sleep provides another fascinating clue about this hidden machinery. During dreaming, the subconscious creates entire realities without conscious direction. Landscapes appear instantly. Conversations unfold automatically. Emotions rise and fall without deliberate choice. The dreaming brain demonstrates just how powerful subconscious generation truly is. Even creativity often seems to emerge from hidden processes. Writers, scientists, and artists frequently describe solutions appearing suddenly after periods of unconscious incubation. While the conscious mind struggles with a problem, deeper neural systems continue processing quietly in the background until insight suddenly surfaces into awareness. As night deepens and conscious thought slowly begins to fade, the hidden systems of the brain remain active. Memories reorganize. Predictions continue forming. Silent calculations unfold beneath awareness exactly as they have throughout every moment of waking life. And somewhere within that vast invisible activity, the next thought may already be forming before you even realize it exists. What if your thoughts are not really yours? Every day, thousands of thoughts move through the human mind. Some arrive quietly, others suddenly interrupting consciousness without warning. A memory appears from nowhere. A strange idea enters unexpectedly. A song begins repeating endlessly in the background of awareness. Most people naturally assume these thoughts belong entirely to them, personally created, intentionally chosen, and fully under their control. But neuroscience, psychology, and philosophy suggest something far more mysterious. Many thoughts may emerge automatically from hidden systems long before conscious awareness notices them. The feeling of ownership over thought could partly be an illusion created after the fact. One of the strangest aspects of human consciousness is that people do not choose most of the thoughts that appear in their minds. Try predicting your next thought before it arrives. The moment you attempt this, another thought simply appears on its own. Consciousness experiences the result, but not necessarily the hidden process that generated it. This raises a profound question. If thoughts can arise without permission, where exactly do they come from? The brain is never truly silent. Even during rest, enormous networks of neurons remain active continuously, exchanging electrical signals and reorganizing information. Deep beneath awareness, memories, emotions, sensory fragments, fears, desires, and predictions constantly interact. Conscious thought represents only the visible surface of a much larger invisible process. Scientists often describe the brain as a prediction machine. Rather than waiting passively for information, it continuously generates expectations, simulations, and interpretations of reality. Thoughts may emerge from this constant internal activity, the brain testing possibilities, reviewing memories, solving problems, or rehearsing future scenarios automatically. In many ways, the conscious mind resembles an observer watching thoughts appear rather than actively manufacturing each one. A person may suddenly remember an event from childhood without trying. An idea for solving a problem may arrive while showering or walking. Sometimes thoughts even feel intrusive or unwanted, appearing against conscious intention entirely. This becomes especially clear during moments of emotional stress. Anxiety can produce endless loops of repetitive thoughts without conscious permission. The brain automatically searches for threats and unresolved problems because survival systems evolved to prioritize danger detection. Long before conscious reasoning intervenes, subconscious systems may already be generating fearful scenarios. Dreams reveal this automatic thought generation in an even more dramatic form. During sleep, the subconscious constructs entire worlds, conversations, and identities without deliberate control. The dreaming mind can create landscapes more vivid than memory and stories stranger than waking logic. Yet while dreaming, consciousness usually accepts these realities completely. If the brain can generate entire dream worlds automatically, then ordinary waking thoughts may also arise from hidden generative systems operating constantly beneath awareness. Memory itself adds another layer of mystery. Human memories are not perfectly stored recordings. Each time a memory is recalled, the brain partially reconstructs it, sometimes altering details unconsciously. Thoughts connected to memory may therefore blend reality, imagination, emotion, and interpretation together seamlessly. What feels certain inside the mind may already be shaped by invisible editing processes. Language also influences thought more deeply than most people realize. The words available within a language shape how reality is categorized and interpreted. Different cultures divide colors, emotions, time, and relationships differently through language itself. In this sense, some thoughts may partly emerge from structures inherited socially rather than created individually. Social environments constantly shape thinking as well. Humans unconsciously absorb behaviors, beliefs, emotional reactions, and even speech patterns from those around them. Psychological studies show that opinions and decisions can be influenced by subtle environmental cues without conscious awareness recognizing the influence at all. Even the sense of self, the feeling of being a stable thinker behind thoughts, may be more fragile than it appears. Neuroscience suggests that the brain constructs the experience of identity by combining memory, body awareness, emotion, and narrative into a unified model. But this model can change under injury, illness, meditation, or altered states of consciousness. Certain neurological conditions demonstrate how easily the feeling of ownership over thought can shift. Some patients report thoughts that feel inserted externally. Others lose the sense that their own limbs belong to them. These rare conditions reveal how the brain normally creates the powerful illusion of unified selfhood automatically. Yet despite all this uncertainty, the experience of being a conscious thinker remains deeply convincing. Humans continue feeling as though they stand at the center of their thoughts, observing and directing mental activity from within. Perhaps this feeling evolved because it creates stability, continuity, and the ability to plan across time. Some philosophers argue that consciousness may function less like a commander and more like a storyteller, organizing the brain's countless hidden processes into a coherent narrative called the self. The thoughts themselves may emerge from complex subconscious systems, while consciousness weaves them into the feeling of personal identity. As night slowly approaches and the mind begins drifting towards sleep, thoughts continue appearing silently from the darkness beneath awareness. Memories surface unexpectedly. Strange images flicker behind closed eyes. Dreams begin forming long before consciousness notices the transition. And somewhere inside that endless stream of mental activity, the human mind continues asking one of its oldest and most unsettling questions. If thoughts simply appear, who is truly thinking them?